We are going to start on our knees today. If this is not comfortable, if you have tight hips, please adjust. Put something underneath your hips. You can put a cushion, you can put a block, something under your hips. If you really can't do it, just take a seat on a chair. Always find ways to adjust and arrive in the positions. Make adjustments the way that you need to. If you have blocks, it might be handy today. Also, if you have something to place under your knee, if you have sensitive knees, we're going to be on our knees a little bit. So if you have a blanket or a towel or something you like to put under your knee, that'll be handy too. So we're going to come up onto our seat. We're going to get really tall in the spine and just start to land on our mat. Find your breath. Start to scan and look for all the places that you're feeling tension. Checking in on your regular places that you hold tension, and then checking on places that maybe you're not used to holding tension. Just checking and looking and scanning. Maybe bring your eyes to a close if that's comfortable. And with every breath, feel like you're making more space in your torso. And as you're making more space, feel like maybe somebody had a string on the crown of your head and they're just gently pulling you a little taller, taking some of that weight off of each vertebrae. As if the air in your lungs could make you lighter. You lift a little more each time. We're going to try mudra for our hand, a shape for our hand. So we're going to take our thumbs, we're going to place them towards our palms. We're going to wrap the first two fingers over those. We're going to place the two fingers together and then touch the other two fingers. So touching, it's an unusual shape, but try it and place it in your lap. Once you get it in your lap, take another little shuffle of the shoulders and make sure you didn't bring too much tension into your shoulders. And just notice the sensation of your hands touching. See if it makes it a little easier to settle on your mat. To let the mind focus on something other than the to-do list. Really place your awareness in the tips of your fingers. Feel the fingers that are touching. Maybe connect to half of your hand feeling extended and long and half of it feeling closed and protected. Lengthen the breath. Notice if there are any gentle pauses naturally occurring in your breath, and maybe explore making them a little bit longer with each breath. And then take a time to think of an intention for practice today. It can be as simple as, I will stay present. Practice today is a 75-minute class. We move for about 60 minutes and then we lay down for a restorative pose for about 15 minutes. So maybe your promise to yourself today, your intention is to stay present for the entire practice. And then bring all the fingertips to touch in both hands. And then bring your hands to prayer. Bring them to your heart. Say your intention to yourself. And then bring your prayer to your center of your forehead. as if locking in your intention. And bring the hands down. Open your eyes if you have them closed. Take some soft circles with the wrists, nice and slow. And then reverse the circles. And then inhale, arms up overhead. And exhale, arms down. Inhale up. Connecting with your breath. Maybe zombie arms, make your arms a little softer. And sweep the exhale away. And then bring your hands back to your lap. Bring your chin all the way down to the chest. Feel the tension in the back of the neck. And chin all the way to the ceiling. Back to neutral, right ear to right shoulder. Really hold and feel the left side. Back to neutral, and then left ear to left shoulder. Notice any tension that forms in the lower back when we're moving. Bring that back. Turn the chin to the right shoulder. And all the way back and turn the chin to the left. And back to neutral. Take soft shoulder rolls, one at a time, nice and slow. Finding your nice slow breath, and then reverse the direction of your roll. Trying to find some muscles in the shoulders, not just rolling through the movement. And then bring the shoulders to neutral, bring them all the way forward, squeeze, and then all the way back and squeeze. Nice and slow. Finding some muscles for this movement. And then come on up to the knees. We're going to come up on our knees, get really tall. Press the tops of your feet down into the ground and a little bit of awareness in your stomach. We're going to inhale, arms up overhead. Exhale, prayer down to our hands, connecting with our breath. Try tucking the toes and see if that feels a little different. And then bring your hands down to the heart. I'm going to take the left leg out, long landed. We're going to take our right hand down about even with the right knee. We're going to hold here. If you have a block handy, you can use a block to place your hand on. Hold here, engage the core. Lift the left arm up. Press the left toes down into the ground and then stretch. Push the hips up to the sky. Stretch from the fingertips to the toes. Breathe. Open up the left rib cage. Draw that left shoulder back. Breathe. We're going to take shoulder circles with the left arm. So nice soft shoulder circles and take some movement with the hips. Breathing, opening. Try not to sink too much into that right wrist. Really lifting up out of the ground on the right side. And then step back up. Left hand can go straight up, especially if you have a tight shoulder. Hold here, engage the core, really pull the core tight towards the spine, and then lift left leg. Hover, flex the foot, pull the toes towards the shoulder, the shin. Hold and hover. Left heel pops up, little small pulses. Squeeze the core, lift up out of that right shoulder. Squeeze. Bring the left heel towards the nose. Hold. Hover. And then reach the left arm long. Inhale. Exhale, bring knee to elbow. Inhale long. Exhale, knee to elbow. Trying not to sink too much into that right shoulder. Use the core to make this movement happen. Slowly take the knee even with the hip. And then inhale long. Exhale, squeeze in. And then land the left toes down. Push the hips up towards the ceiling. Pull the left shoulder back. Stretch and breathe open. Slowly as you inhale, bring the torso back up. Land with the left leg still open. Inhale, right arm comes up and then over. Little opening on the right side body. And bring that left knee in and over to the other side. So bring your block with you if you're using the block. Left leg comes straight. I'm regretting not turning the fans on already. A right leg comes straight. Left leg is your base. You can tuck the toes or leave them flat. Inhale, right arm up and come on over. Find your block or the ground. Push the hips up to the sky and then stretch from the toes to the fingers. Big circles with this right arm and some fluid movement with the torso. Finding your breath. And then reach long. Right arm can come up. Really using some muscles on this left side body. Engage and lift the right leg. Hold and hover. Little pulses with the heel. Try to take the tension out of the neck. Squeeze the torso. And then bring this right heel towards your nose. Hold and hover. And inhale long, exhale, elbow to knee. Inhale long, exhale, crunch. Slowly bring that knee back even with the hip. Inhale long, exhale, crunch. And then land the right toes. Push the hips up to the ceiling. Open and breathe. Slowly inhale as you come all the way back up, landing that right foot down. Inhale, lift the left arm up. Breathe into the left side body. Bring that right knee down and make your way to a tabletop position. Landing in your tabletop, we're going to move and breathe. Inhaling forward and exhaling hips back towards a child's pose shape. Inhale forward, exhale back. Come back to a tabletop position and take some circles with the torso. Really squeezing the stomach up towards the spine as you take your circle. Find some movement, nice and slow. And reverse the direction of your circle. And then tuck your toe. Make your way to a down dog position. Find whatever movement feels good to warm up your down dog. Connect with a long, slow breath and your head below your heart. Lift up out of the ribs, out of the wrists and shoulders. Using your stomach to really lift your hips high. And then find the stillness of the pose. Let the tension go in the neck. Soften the face. Find the breath. We're going to challenge our balance here. So if you'd like to go back to tabletop and challenge from tabletop, go ahead. If you want to really challenge, you're going to stand down dog. You're going to bring the weight into the left hand and lift the right hand out even with the shoulder. And then maybe lift the left toes, opposite arm, opposite leg. Breathe and hold and feel the wobbles and feel which muscles engage to try and keep you up. Breathe. Lower the hand, lower the foot. Slowly transition over to the other side. Left arm, right leg. Breathe and balance. Lift up out of that right arm. Don't sink into the shoulder. Draw yourself up out of the ground. Then bring the left hand down, right leg down. Reset and down dog. Catch your breath. We're going to move and breathe here. So returning to child's pose, tabletop is fine, or find the challenge, inhaling forward, high plank, and exhaling down dog. Inhale forward, exhale back. Try to connect to every muscle you can find from the fingertips to the toes. Bring it back to down dog. Find the stillness of the pose. Inhale the right leg high and then take the long, slow circle with the right leg. And then bend the knee and bring the knee towards the right elbow. Step the right foot down. And then land in your low lunge, inhaling forward and exhaling, sending the right leg towards straight. You can use your blocks here just to lift yourself up off the thigh. Engage from the foot all the way to the left foot. Using your stomach Using the muscles of your legs, softening the face and the neck and shoulders. Slowly lower the left knee down to the ground. Find a comfortable position for the left knee. Maybe you need something underneath it. Try not to be directly down on the kneecap. Press the top of the left foot down a little more to make this more comfortable. And then maybe bring your torso up a little. So we're going to lift up if you can. Hold here. So legs are very engaged. We're not sinking onto that left knee. We're pressing into the right knee. You could even lift up. If you're so strong and engaged, you could lift up off the left knee entirely. So engaging, engaging, engaging from the feet all the way to the core. Inhale, lift the arms up overhead. Breathe. Hold. Engage more in the right foot. So press that right foot like you're pushing it away from you without letting it move. We're going to inhale up long, exhale open to the side. Inhale, sweep back around, exhale open. So you're taking a full circle with this right arm. Inhale up, exhale, sweep around to the side. Engage in the stomach, engage in the core. You should be pushing so much into that right leg. The back of the right hip is starting to burn.
Understand what you were doing with your arms.
And then come on back. Hips come back towards the left knee. Lift the toes on the right leg. Find the back of the leg. You can take some movement with this foot, feeling the back of the leg. The weight should be up off this back leg. Use your blocks to lift you up if you can. And then slowly come forward, adjust the weight onto the front leg, tuck the toes in the back. Pressing into this front leg. So maybe just tucking the toes, pressing the toes into the ground. Or you can lean a little forward and maybe bring the heel towards the glute. Maybe even reach up and catch the foot. If you catch the foot, press the foot into the hand. See how that feels. Lift the torso up. Try not to sink into that right hip. Engage the right leg. Press into the ground. Slowly release the foot if you have it. Tucking the toes. Engage the leg. Lift that back knee up. Little lunge. Lift up off the right thigh. Get long in the torso. And then inhale as we rise all the way up. High lunge. Find your high lunge. And maybe pop this back leg in a little for balance. We're going to move and breathe. Find a high lunge that's nice and steady and stable. So find your base, get really strong. Take the tension out of the low back. That may mean bending the back knee a little more, squeezing the stomach a little more. And this time we're going to inhale long, exhale, sink the knee open to the side. Inhale up long, exhale, sink the knee open. Inhale, open. Arms are engaged. Find some movement in the right shoulder. And then open up, hold, press your hands like you're pressing walls away from you. Engage the legs a little more. Feel like the legs are pulling the mat apart. Breathe and hold, squeeze the stomach. Lower that back hand, maybe it's going to find the thigh. Lift the top hand, front hand up. Breathe and hold. way back up to high lunge. Hands to prayer. Interlace the fingers, leaving the index finger ahead. Press your hands away from you and engage the shoulders and arms. Start to lift the torso forward, engaging, and then pop up that back leg like you're becoming an arrow, nice and strong. Engage from the fingertips to the toes on both feet. Slowly release the hands. Let them fly behind your bended back leg and bring it all the way up. To stand, flex the foot, cross it just over right knee, and maybe sit it down. Engage left leg. Draw the left knee towards the ground. All the way back up to stand, lower, and tap out the feet. Really feel the feet on the ground and really tap the feet. Let the vibrations happen in the feet. And then we'll return to our breath, inhaling, arms up overhead, exhaling, bring your prayer down to our hearts. Inhale up. And exhale down. This time, inhale up, exhale, bring the prayer through center and come all the way down with the torso. Then inhale, scoop up. Much larger movement. Exhale down. Inhale up. Nice big bend in the knees as you come down. Let your stomach find your thighs. Scooping in, fresh, and then letting go. Try to loosen a little more as you come down. And then inhale fresh, really let go. Sink it down and find your thighs and let go. Take all the tension out of the head and the neck. Maybe take your hands, palms up, and allow the shoulders to really hang loose. Maybe adjust your feet a little so your hips are a little more comfortable. Checking in, having an internal experience, not trying to copy my shape or Kaylee's shape or the shape you saw on Instagram, but having an internal experience for your own body. Letting go, turning your world upside down. And placing the hands down on the ground. Slowly step back. Right foot back, left foot back. High plank, breathe and hold. Engage the arms like you're really pulling the mat apart. You're trying to rip your mat with your hand. Maybe a soft bend in the knees so the energy from the heels to the fingertips flows more easily without locked knees. Maybe you pull the pelvis towards the belly button. Breathe and hold. And you can lower the knees or try the challenge. Wait until left hand, take a big circle with the right hand. Land it. Right, wait onto right hand, big circle with the left. Nice, slow movement with control and with your breath. Maybe opening up side to side, experimenting with your own strength and the shape of movement. And then lower the knees. Hip hips back, child's pose. Release, reset, let go. Find your breath. Again, trying to have an internal experience. Taking any adjustments in child's that your body feels like it needs. And then make your way back to a down dog. Taking your time to come up to a down dog shape. Taking your time to find your comfortable down dog. Feel where your hands feel comfortable, where your wrists feel comfortable. Find a place where you can take the tension out of the neck. And then experiment. Bring the right foot a little bit closer to the right wrist and turn the toes a little bit out. Bring the left foot in a little bit closer and turn the toes out. Wide like a down dog with the toes out. See if you can engage the legs here. So really pulling the legs up out of the ground and then adjust hips. See how that feels. So move the hips back and forth, bringing the weight onto the hands and then back. And then take the toes and point them in a little bit. Heels out, toes in. And take some movements. Feel the difference of this pose. And you can keep a really large bend in your knees. You're just trying to have a little internal play. See how things feel. Bring the feet really close together. So toes, big toes touching. Squeeze the knees together. And then maybe sending the hips all the way back. Weight forward. Find a little play. Find a different way to take a down dog shape. And then find your comfortable position for your feet. The place where your feet are most comfortable. Your hips are most comfortable. Your shoulders are most comfortable. This pose is a challenging pose. It shouldn't be a no muscles working pose. But it shouldn't also be causing pain. Find your breath. Inhale, left leg high and take a really slow circle with the left leg, as slow as you can go. Controlling the left leg. Trying to find every angle your leg can move in. And then bend the left knee, bring it towards the left wrist, and lower the left foot down. Find a low lunge, inhaling forward and exhaling, sending left leg towards straight. Finding your breath. And then find a low lunge. Lower the back knee slowly towards the ground and untuck the toes. Play with this back foot until this right knee is comfortable. So adjust the foot, slide the foot around, press the top of the foot into the ground so you can lift a little more of the weight off the back leg. And then slowly bring the torso up, maybe using your blocks to keep a little bit of the weight forward. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, sweep left arm back and around. Inhale up. Exhale, back and open. Inhale, sweep up. Engaged legs. So you should be pressing so much into the left foot that the left hip is starting to feel the work. And then bring it back, weight forward on that left leg. Tuck the toes on the back foot. And then maybe adjusting the knee a little, bringing that heel towards the glute. And maybe you can even reach back and catch the foot. If you catch the foot, press the foot into the hand. See if you can fire up that quad. Slowly release the foot if you have it. Send the hips backwards towards the right knee and lift the toes in the left leg. You can hold this static or take some movement, find some play. Come forward on the left leg. Press the weight into the foot. Really lift the torso up, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, and find a little lunge. Try to lift up off that left thigh. Really engaged legs, engaged core. And then big inhale as you sweep up, high lunge. And adjusting your high lunge for nice balance and strong base. So maybe popping that back foot in, maybe bending the back knee a little. Take the tension out of the low back. Squeeze the core a little more. Take a deep inhale with the exhale, sweep open to the left side, and then inhale back up. Exhale, open, lower the knees. Exhale up. Inhale up. Really fire up legs. Not just moving with motion. Legs are strong and engaged. Bring it down and hold. Engaged, engaged, engaged. Soften the face. And then bring it back, regular high lunge. Hands to prayer. Engage the hands, interlacing the fingers, pointing your fingers, index fingers forward. Press the arms away from you. Press, press, press. Start to really press the shoulders away. Stomach pulls towards the spine. Torso comes forward. And then lift back, leg up and hold and engage. Breathe. Tension out of the face. Both legs strong. Fly the arms back. Bend the back knee and breathe in as you come all the way up to stand. Engaged leg. Right ankle over left knee. Maybe sink it down. If you catch the half chair, pull the right knee down towards the ground. That leg stays active. Breathe and hold. Inhale as we come all the way up, knee with you, and then tap it out. So really tap the feet out. Feel the ground, soften the legs. And then connect with our breath. Inhaling up, arms overhead. Exhale down to our heart. Inhale up. our hands down to our heart. Hold and soften a little. Maybe even close your eyes. Ungrip the toes. Soften the face. Soften the neck and shoulders. Now we're going to begin to engage the legs. So really feeling your feet on the ground. Start to feel like you're pulling them out apart with your legs. Fire up the muscles in your legs. Maybe even a soft bend in the knees. We're going to push the hips forward. And we're going to move and breathe. Only going backwards this time. So we're going to inhale our prayer up overhead. Little tilt of the hips forward. Exhale, bring our prayer back to neutral. Inhale, press the hips up, hands a little bit overhead. Exhale, back to neutral. So really engage. We're thinking about pushing the hips forward, extending from the hips to the shoulders. We're not looking to drop our skull. See if you can engage the legs a little bit more. And then bring it back to neutral. Soften the legs, shimmy the hips. Maybe even close the eyes and center back into your heart space and find your breath. If you have a block, feel free to grab the block, place it just above your knees. It just helps give you something to engage. Otherwise, you're just going to imagine squeezing your knees together. You can bring your knees together. Some people find that uncomfortable on their ankles. So you can just pull them out apart and then imagine engaging, pulling the knees towards each other without letting anything rub against, any joints rub against each other. Sink the hips a little bit. Bring your hands to prayer. Take the tension out of the back. So pull the stomach in. Really strong and engaged base first. Find your base. Be strong and engaged. It should already feel like work. You're squeezing the block. We're going to inhale center. Exhale, take opposite elbow to opposite knee. Inhale center. Exhale over. Squeezing the core to make the torso move. Start to engage the arms like you're pressing the shoulder towards the knee. And then inhale center and soften the legs a little. Maybe hold onto your block and tap the feet out. Bring the block back in, engage. So find your base first, engaging the feet, engaging the legs, squeeze the block. Maybe adjust so that you can find the perfect level of engagement. Soften the low back, engage the stomach. Hands to prayer, find your base. And then this time we're going to inhale, arms up. Exhale, twist open. Swing the arm around in a circle. Inhale, exhale, twist to the other side. Try to keep your base super stable. Arms strong. And then bring your hands back to prayer. Release the block. And really tap out the feet. Tap left to right. Tap your foot center. And then start to take some little shapes with the hands. Really soften and loosen. Land your feet. Soft. Take left arm to right side, right arm to right side. Letting the hands tap the hips. Soften, loosen, maybe even close your eyes. And thinking about sweeping away things no longer needed. Extend your feet really wide on your mat, so about mat width. Engage the legs, so feel like you're ripping the mat apart, legs engaged. Then slowly bring the torso forward. Strong in the torso, strong in the legs. And if you have your block, you can find your block here. Find a little balance, otherwise challenge by holding your arms out or just keep your torso up. Really strong and engaged legs. Take the hips a little tiny bit over to the right, and then a little tiny bit over to the left. And maybe you want to start to slow it down already. So maybe this is enough, just having a little movement, a little experience. If you want to challenge, you're going to bring your arms up and take opposite hand towards opposite foot, making the torso a little heavier. And then bring it back to center. Lift right heel, lower, lift left heel. Slow, soft heel raises. Feeling the muscles in the feet. Take the tension out of the neck. And then turning the toes out, slowly shift the hips all the way down to Malasana Yogi Squat. Find your Malasana. Find that point where you're not sinking into the joints, but you're engaged. And then lift the torso long. Breathe. And then slowly lower down all the way to the hips. Take left leg out long. Take right leg just over left knee. You can place something underneath the left knee if you have sensitive knees. Press the heel into the ground. Pull the toes of the left foot back towards the shin. Pull the toes of the right foot back towards the shin. Pull the right knee down towards the ground. Maybe this is enough. Maybe this feels engaged. If you like, you can start to pull the left heel towards the glute. So find that place where you can press into the left heel and draw the right knee away from you. Feel nice and strong and engaged. Arms for balance. Try not to sink into your joints. Find your breath. Slowly draw that left heel towards the right glute. And maybe you can land that left foot down. Maybe you can come all the way to, I think this is called fire log in some practices. You're trying to have your shins even. Be very gentle, be very mindful. Lift up the torso. Maybe even hold on, not to hold and pull, but give your body a little feedback. So you can hold this right leg and then press into it a little. So pulling up with your right hand, just a teeny bit, press in, just to give your body a little feedback. And then slowly lean back and unravel. Bring right foot out, left foot out, and take some shakes with the legs. Left heel comes just above the right knee. And again, you can place something in underneath the knee. Start to engage. Start to maybe draw the right heel towards you. Find the point where you can engage from the toes to the hip on the right leg and from the toes to the hip on the left leg. Draw the left knee away from you. Breathe. And slowly, very slowly, draw that left heel towards you until you can place it down. And maybe adjust, bringing the knees and the ankles in line. Again, maybe holding on to the left thigh and pressing and engaging just to give yourself a little feedback. So a lot of people are super open in the hips. I'm pretty open. I can come down pretty easily. But I like to engage and feel my body reset and open rather than just fold into the joint. I'm very good at folding into joints. My joints will move freely. And I like to feel the muscle feedback. Get a little stronger around the joint and the angles that the joint can easily move. And very slowly leaning back, unravel. Careful, slow, gentle. Take some points and flexes with your feet. Point your toes and draw your toes back towards your shin. And give your legs some shakes and wobbles. Take your feet out wide. So find that point where you feel like you're finding the inner thighs, not yanking the inner thighs open to their most extreme position. Press the heels into the ground and lift the back of the knees off the ground. And then you're going to take a little left and right. So you may be able to lean the torso a little bit forward. Some people's hip sockets, in fact. The joint is not shaped so that your torso can easily go this way. So do not feel like that is a goal. That is not a goal. Never push bone onto bone. There's no point in that. So if you can lean back and get really, really tall and find a little movement in the inner thighs just by pressing the feet away from you, or you can lean the torso forward. It depends on the shape of your hip joint. A lot of people think there are some poses where they're getting locked and they're like, oh, my low back is so tight, or oh, my hamstrings are so tight. Sometimes it's actually the shape of a joint that is preventing us from this movement. So really try to tune in and have an internal experience about what your body feels. We're just looking to find the inner thigh, warm through it, find some movement, do something that feels nice for the inner thigh, without hurting anything else. And then bring the soles of the feet together and take some little butterfly kicks. And if you're ready to come all the way down to Shavasana, go ahead and start to come down. If you'd like to try just one more challenge, we're going to bring ourselves onto our right hip. We're going to have that right foot parallel with the top of the mat. Flex the right foot. Nice shape in the knee. Send the left leg back. Nice and slow. And get that 90-degree angle here. And then see if you can come forward. Find some movement. Strength in the hips, maybe. You can lift this back leg. So kind of a funky pigeon shape. Lifting up out of the joints. Slowly sink the right hip over to the ground. Now we're going to swing around and make the same shape with the left leg. Left leg comes parallel, right leg swings behind 90 degrees, and then adjust the torso, engaging, pressing the left leg down into the ground and lifting up, and then maybe coming over and lifting this back knee up. Flexed, strong feet. Feet are engaged, legs are engaged, torso is engaged, face is soft, find your breath. Slowly lower the back foot, sink the hip over. Take the feet out long and take some shakes. slowly make your way down to your back. And I'm going to demonstrate with Kaylee some options for a very restorative pose. Lift up your knees. I'm going to get you 2 bolsters, so stay there. Oh, there it is. So if you have a chair, propping your legs up onto a chair will be very comfortable for your low back. You have lots of cushions. You can place your legs onto cushions. You want to let your hips come down to the ground. And Kaylee, bring your feet together. Let your knees come out. See if that's comfortable. You can also give something for your hips on either side. Comfortable or one less bolster. Feel good. So, some people are comfortable with a strap here. This can feel really nice, locking in around the hips. Actually, I need you to slide that underneath. Sorry, I should have said you will. Locking in around the hips and locking in around the ankles. There you go. How's that feel? You don't have a strap, you're not comfortable with the strap, you can skip the strap. The strap is not tight. You are just giving yourself a little feedback. So one of the things when you start to loosen control of your muscles, as your body starts to feel like it's falling in space. You have these weird feedback loops sometimes. We feel like we're kind of falling in space. So the goal of the props in a restorative pose is to allow your body to feel supported. Like it has something to soften into. It feels supported so that the muscles can really turn off and relax. Especially those muscles in around the hips and the low back. There's a lot of clamping, a lot of gripping that goes on in this space. So maybe you just have both knees propped up and your feet together, hips open. Maybe this is not the resting pose for you today or ever. There are no right or wrongs. We just experiment with different shapes, see what works and see what doesn't. And everybody is different, and the wonderful thing about yoga is there's pretty much something for everyone. So start to land on the mat. Start to do a body scan as if you could tell each and every cell in your body. Then all the work is done. We can switch off and take a little break. See if you can soften a little more around the joints and the toes. See if you can soften the arch of the feet. Soften around the ankles. Soften around the knees. We did a lot of work on our knees today, so maybe you feel some sensations in the knees. Check in, see how they feel. See if you can loosen any gripping around the knees. And then place your awareness in your hips. Really think about that joint. Ball and socket joint, there's bone wrapped around the bone. See if you can imagine little pockets of soft, fluffy space in between those two bones. As if with your intention you could place little soft, fluffy clouds, make more space. Imagine your muscles can be like clamps, clamping down, bringing these two bones too close together. And imagine just softening all this clamping and making space. And imagine you can make a soft circle from hip to hip. So imagine your attention just rolling around in a soft circle in the lower torso area. As if you could place a little ball of energy here, and it's going to make a little circular pattern. And this little ball of energy slowly lets go and releases any tension that it finds in this space. Land your ball of energy right on the tailbone, and this little ball of energy, still releasing any tension it finds, is slowly going to move up the spine as if it could check in with each vertebrae and place a little pocket of soft, fluffy space in between each vertebrae, and circle around each vertebrae, looking at all the muscles and tension, releasing any holding patterns. Slowly, as if you could walk up one vertebrae at a time up your spine. And land at the base of the skull, this meeting point of our brain to the rest of our body, our important energetic highway of our spine, sending messages back and forth from the brain to the body, from the body to the brain. And it's almost like we fight this passage. We clamp down in this space. It's almost as if we're spending our days fighting this mind-body connection. So really finding some softness and some space right at the base of the skull. Imagine you can just gently sweep away any tension here. Allow the skull to really land heavy on the mat. And allow all the muscles that hold it to start to soften and let go. And begin to take some long, slow breaths, consciously and purposely forcing your breath just a little bit, using muscular action to really slowly fill up the lungs, and even slower letting the air come out, almost as if you're restricting the movement a little, pulling the lungs open, and then holding the breath as it comes out, restricting it, allowing it to move as slow as it possibly can. Finding some real muscular action in your breath. Particularly paying attention to just underneath the rib cage, really using those muscles like you're pulling your ribs apart with force, with muscle. Engage the muscles. feel what it feels like to use the muscles to control the breath. And then begin to let the muscles soften. So thinking about as much softness as you can around all the muscles that you just felt moving. Allow them to soften. And then experiment with trying to watch your breath, observe your breath, and not be in control of your breath. Just watching it, breathing in, breathing out. Take the time to really observe the breath in the torso space. Many of us are holding on and gripping onto our breath and gripping onto this torso space, this vulnerable space. We have no idea we're doing it because that's normal and homeostasis for us. So bringing our awareness to this space and bringing as much softness as we can to this space. Letting go. Releasing control. Allowing the ground to hold you, the ground to support you. Take a break. And then land right in the very center of the brain, as if you could land right on the top of the spinal cord, behind the eyes. And as if you could peek back up from the midsection of your brain and watch all the firings of your brain. Watch all those neurons firing in your brain. And what are neurons firing in our brain? They're thoughts. So if you want to give it some kind of visual representation, a little person looking back up at all the neurons firing in the brain, thinking about an anatomical brain, thinking about some other kind of visualization. Find the thing that connects for you to be able to visualize this, see this. Like you are resting below the thoughts, below these firings. Maybe you imagine an internal TV screen and they're just firing on the screen. But start to imagine just a little bit of distance of you and the thoughts, between you and your thoughts. And then ponder that concept. The thoughts are up here. The you, the I, is below. If I can look at my thoughts, then who is it that can see the thoughts? Connect with the concept that you are something other than just the thoughts swirling and firing in your mind. That's what the thoughts do. Just as the wind blows, or rain falls, thoughts just fire and swirl. Take a few minutes to rest in that center space below the thoughts. And whenever they get too overwhelming or too distracting, as they do, or maybe your environment draws your attention, just return back to that center focus. And find perhaps a statement that helps you center point focus. Simple one is I am. And just repeat it until you feel more focused, more centered, less distracted. If you're in a wonderful space and you are able to take some more time, please take as much time as you need in this resting pose. And if you used props or strapped up and you're going to follow us out, I'll guide you out. Just take a few moments to bring your hands to your legs and bring some circulation to your legs. Bring some circles onto your thighs. And then using your hands, gently run your knees in and curl up in a little tiny ball. Make your way slowly over to your side, and whichever side is calling to you, curling up in a little ball. Grounding down and arriving back in present moment. And then slowly coming on back to a seated position and bringing our hands to prayer, heart space. Complete your practice with this familiar pose, this gesture of bringing our left and right sides to meet in front of our hearts, as if accepting ourselves as whole and complete, exactly as we are. May we all know love, light, and connection. Thank you for joining us.